can't wait.
Yeah, we can't wait because we're live. Yeah, now before we go any further tonight, I would just like to say that Roll20 is having a bit of a dicky fit. I don't know what it's doing at all.
It's female.
But we can't actually click on cogs, and there's bound to be something else that we can't.
Has anybody tried rolling something? No.
I'll just get rid of the Zoom link in chat. Yeah, so we're not too sure what's going to happen. It seems that there's something happening. Chugga couldn't get back in once he got
none
kicked
of the skill buttons work either.
Oh no!
That's
I just
cool.
clicked something. It says cannot call method or dialogue prior to initialization. Attempt to call method. Destroy.
Yeah, no worries. We'll just roll dice. Oh my giddy aunt, we'll have to roll dice. That's
It's
all right.
It's like pen and paper all over again.
Yeah, well, hang on a minute, because I actually, yeah, none of your, none of the macros work either.
Oh my god!
No, Stone Ages.
I have real dice.
So if I try to roll
10 sixes.
if I try to roll a GM roll, a blind roll, it just rolls it without asking how many dice it wants. And I get a 6. The first one I got a 1, and the second one I got a 6. So
Other than the hand card, what do you think's wrong with it all?
well, it rolls the dice. That's
Have you been a pro user?
It's probably that something's disconnected or something. Error cannot call methods on dialogue priority. Yep. Okay, that's not a problem. We can do this. We can just roll dice, and that's absolutely. Does the roll from here actually work? Yeah. So the actual. Can you see my Game Master one there?
The one you've just done.
Yeah.
The 5d6 is created
Yeah.
on 5.
Yeah.
So just remember it's.
/1, isn't it?
When X is the number of D6s you want to roll, and then that's it.
Well, the dice roller works. So
Yeah,
Dice
the
roller.
dice roller works as well. Yeah, so right, we will get through it. We will go back to the
we're
old-fashioned
soldiers.
rolling
Big
dice.
neck soldier.
Yeah. So, welcome to this week's episode of Shadowrun. It's a bit of a strange one because Studley, you're the only character I think you were here for the last one.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to have to do some joining up thinking. But before I get down to that, I'll let the players introduce themselves and the characters, and we'll start off with Chugga.
Good evening, everybody. I am Chugga, and tonight I am playing a character who is called Stanley Lovely. He goes by the name of Studley on the streets. He's rather round with receding hair and round-rimmed glasses, a bit paunchy. He's a mage, and that's what he brings to the group. He provides magical support. He's also the face of the group, so he's in charge of the negotiation, and also if he needs to do any conning, he supplements his face skills via his magic, which he uses to boost them. When he's not adventuring, he lives at home with his mom, where he tries to earn money to keep her accustomed in the way that she likes to live. It's mainly to pay for her medical expenses. And I shall pass on to Mr. Big Beastie.
Hello, I am Big Beastie, and my internet works. Yay! I'm playing a character called Billy Bob. He is a orc. He's the tank of the group. So if there's any combat, he's your man. Well, orc.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's not very bright, but he can
He's-
lift heavy things.
Yeah, he's not
Punch
the
really hard.
he's not the brightest bulb in the thing, but yeah, he makes up for it in enthusiasm.
Yes.
And with that, I will pass it on to Mr. EPG Longshanks.
Hi guys, I am Mr. EPG Longshanks, or AKA Longshanks EPG. Tonight, I'm actually starting off with a new character. After the departure out of the group's previous decker, I thought I'd try and take up the reins and see how spectacularly I can fail at that. So my character goes by the name of Bodhi. He is, as I said, he's a human decker. So he does all the sort of like internet or matrix, as it's now called, stuff. So yeah, and I'll introduce his persona on the matrix when it actually arrives, because I want that to be a surprise. He's sort of a surfer background, but was also he thinks of himself as a matrix genius at the same time. A little bit full of himself, a little bit sort of like typical sort of surfer, sort of like at the same time he's very confident in himself, but at the same time he's kind of really relaxed and yeah, well, whatever, dude, type thing. So we shall see how he fits in with the rest of the group. And with that, I'll pass it on to our amazing GM, Inros.
Excellent. So, just to bring you up to date by what has happened and what is happening. So, the adventure started last week with Billy Bob getting a comm call from one of his many lady admirers, Handbrake. And Handbrake sort of like phoned him up and said that she wanted him to do a favour, and they had to head down to like a boxing gym or fighting gym, because a fighter called Bert the Basher had actually gone missing. Now the party arrived on the Monday, and Bert had not been seen since the following Friday. There's a bit of a time limit on this because he does have another fight coming up.
Week on Friday.
A week on Friday, yeah, 2 weeks time from when he's gone missing. So it's imperative that the runners actually find him and actually get him back ready for his fight. Now, they did quite a lot of things. They broke into his apartment and had a rummage through there, where they found that Bert the Basher had some rather posh suits hung up, and then they managed to find out from people within the gym that he often frequents a sports bar called the Scaredy Cat Elf, and the group headed down there last week. And when they got there, there was a whole load of fights going on. There was urban brawl going on, and street fight and combat biking and everything like that. And in the corner there was some soccer or football being played, and the bar only sold two things: Soyerweiser and burgers, and that was it. So the party decided to try to ascertain whether or not where Bert Basher was. So Studley, who also doubles up at the face, went up to the really busy bar when there was Soyerweisers flying all over the place and burgers here, there and everywhere, and asked about Bert the Basher. And the bar lady was far too busy to sort of like give him the answer. So at that point, Studley walked out of the sports bar, and then shortly after that, the rigger, who was Tornado, who was Longshanks EPG's previous character, also turned and walked out the bar at the same time. So in order to get things up and running, what we're going to say is as follows. Billy Bob, you are now back with the party, so you will be outside with Studley at this point. And we'll also say that Bodhi has been recruited onto the team for this job. And so he's been, you got a phone call from the Mr. Johnson, who is, I forgot his name. What's his?
We're talking about Sid.
Yes, Sid Gabetti. Yeah, and so Bodhi arrives outside the bar at the same time. So we'll say that introductions have been met and completed. So basically, we're straight on to the adventure. We will assume, Bodhi, that you've been brought up to date with what's happening, etc. So you know all that information, and then it's just a matter of you are all stood or sat or outside the sports bar. And you can hear there's a whole load of noise in there, and the shouting of goals, or when somebody gets their head chopped off in the combat biking, if you remember, is a more of aggressive form of polo, and urban brawls and things like that. So you are all stood outside, and that's when we'll pick the adventure up. So what would you like to do, guys? I'll leave it over to you now.
Before we start, when we were in Bert's apartment and in the wardrobe, there was a couple of suits still hung up.
Correct, yeah.
Was there? Can I make a memory check to see whether or not there was an empty hanger or anything next to them of the same design,
by all means.
Or on the bed or something like that? What is it? Logic and willpower. Logic 11.
5 successes? 2,
Yes.
3, 4, 5. Yeah, you don't remember a spare hanger in the apartment, but it did look like there'd been a change of clothing happening in there. So whether or not Bert had got himself into a suit could well be the explanation.
Okay.
Just to let you know, the Scaredy Cat Elf is not the sort of place that you would wear a suit to.
No. Studley was just trying to ascertain that when he left the apartment on Friday, if he did indeed leave the apartment on Friday, whether or not he was in normal clothes or whether or not he was in one of these posh suits.
Yeah. Well, from your memory roll with 5 successes, you sort of like can assume that he probably went out quite smartly dressed.
Okay, so within this bar, there was various games going on.
There was indeed.
Now, the ones like the combat biking and the urban brawl, those are sort of like a bit more of a commercial fighting thing. Was there any screens showing fights from the sort of like the South Side fighting circuit?
Yeah, there were what's known as street fights. They were recorded, and you can see. Well, you can't see where you are at the moment because you're outside. But there was some quite big punch-ups going with a variety of people. It seemed to be recorded. It didn't seem to be live. It's probably something that's happened in the past, a previous fight maybe. Okay, so
Studley's going to turn around to Billy Bob, and he's going to say, there might be another way to get some information from here. I may well need some backup, so if you wouldn't mind accompanying me, that would be much appreciated.
Let's go.
I didn't have my glasses. I found my glasses now. Don't worry. Look at that for transformation.
Wow.
Completely different.
Completely and utterly. And with that, Studley's going to head back into the bar.
Yeah, okay then. So you go back into the bar, and as I described before, there's a lot of cheering when various teams win, or when several people are seriously injured in the urban brawl or combat biking. And as always, everybody is there with one hand on the neck of the bottle of the Sawyerweiser, and the other hand tend to be in a rather ineffective small napkin of some description, chewing on burgers with plenty of things like mustard and ketchup sort of like smeared all over it. There seems to be sort of like groups of people left, right and centre, and they all seem to be either looking or watching their favourite game.
Okay, so Studley's going to look around for a screen that has the Southside fighting,
street fighting, yeah.
And he's going to look for one that has sort of like a whole load of people watching it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
He's gonna make his way up to the back of it.
yeah.
If he can, he'll pick up like a, sorry, that was my my thing falling off. If he can, he'll pick up sort of like an empty bottle of Bud off one of these sides and just hold it in his hand as he gets up there.
Now, if I remember from last adventure, this is not the sort of place that Studley likes to be in.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not the type of place that he likes to be in at all. But information does need to be got, and he has something or someone backing him up at the moment.
I'm trying to figure this little thing here.
Which little thing?
You probably can't see it on the.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
I can see like a little zoom thing.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
No, it's actually from. I'll tell you where it's from. It's from. Is it just on that one, or is it on all of them?
The bar with the
The hand and the magnifier. I just
that's strange. It's only on that one. It's actually the zoom bar from Realmworks.
It's non-clickable. For us.
I'm just checking the.
Oh, you're moving that around now. I've got that.
No, only the map. That's interesting. Right, let me start up Realmworks again.
You haven't linked two accounts, have you, or something like that?
No, not at all. I'm wondering whether or not I took a picture of it and then when I've uploaded it.
Just probably
could well have done. Yeah. Okay, so once he's positioned behind them, he's going to start to make comments about the fighting in front of him. He doesn't know much about it, but he's going to start off by sort of like almost like mimicking what other people are saying. So if somebody says, good punch, Studley's going to be going, oh, yeah, good punch.
Excellent. So
we start doing that for a few, sort of like 5 minutes before he goes into stage 2 of his.
Okay, so first up, can you roll for me an etiquette check? That will probably be somewhere close. So, for example, if you've got something like streetwise etiquette or something like that, then I'll take that. Do you have any?
No.
No. Okay then. So just roll it with the usual minus 1 for it. Let's see what you get.
Glitch.
Yeah, so you're sort of like trying to blend in and trying to sort of like join in the chat, and rather than sort of like joining in, you notice that people are sort of like looking at you quite strangely, because you're obviously, it's as if they sort of like see that you're either mimicking, whether or not that is in a positive or a negative way, they're not too sure, but that's what they think at the moment.
Billy Bob's gonna bend down and he's gonna go, do.
Cool. So what's stage 2?
Okay, so after he's been sort of like doing that, and I mean, his whole thing was to get people to sort of like notice him. He's going to start bringing in Bert the Basher into the conversation. So when there's a good hit or something like that, he's going to start going, "Oh, Bert could do better than that. Bert the Basher is better than this fighter," and he's going to. Sorry, that was somebody else falling. That was me going. Yeah, he's going to. He's going to start saying. He's going to sort of like be really loud and sort of like try to be as boisterous as he can, but he's going to. He's going to keep mentioning Bert the Basher to see whether or not he can initiate people.
Yeah, tell me what you're trying to achieve from this. That'll be a better way to look at it.
I'm trying to get people to anybody who might know him or know information about him to sort of like almost turn around. It's almost like if you say something about somebody and they'll turn around and say, "Well, no, he's not like that. He doesn't even come here anymore. You know, he's not a very good fighter."
Okay.
I once heard that he threw a fight. You know, it's.
Yeah. So roll your con. Sorry, I got distracted by the picture because I was trying to figure whether or not there's one person there or two people.
There's one person with 2 legs, and then there's one person in the corner here.
Yeah, because I thought
It looks like she's sat on someone's lap.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that was a head. So it looks. I thought she was sat on a head on somebody's lap, but then I suddenly realised that is that another leg, or is it sort of like a reflection? I was trying to figure that out.
I think it's a woman wearing a red dress, like red skirt, with a reflection in the background. Maybe.
Okay.
I thought she was on with trousers on.
I'm pre-edging this roll.
Okay, cool.
Just got her legs crossed.
That's 6
Oh, no,
successes.
I haven't finished yet.
There's 7 successes there. Yeah, so that's brilliant. So you managed to con your way into the discussion, and they start sort of almost like including you in this sort of like discussion, and rather being on the peripheral of the group, you're sort of like included within them. So you sort of like stood around with all these people, men and women, sort of like cheering at the screen, and somebody noticed that your bottle's empty, and you suddenly find that somebody else is thrusting another Soilwiser in your direction, which you take and put your bottle down on the nearby bar.
Okay. None of them engage in. None of them say anything about Bert the Basher, though.
Well, there's people commenting about it and sort of like agreeing with you or disagreeing with you, and that's why I'm saying you're more into the
Okay, right.
into the group now.
So what? When he's more into the group, he's going to be he's going to continue making comments about the.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. With the 7 successes, you can sort of like keep making comments, and
Yeah.
like I said, people join in with you and either say, Yes, agree, and they slap you on the back. And
Does there seem to be anybody among the group who's making more comments than others, or who seems a bit more knowledgeable about the Basher or not?
roll your perception score.
I know, because I've got everything 8 dice. 5 successes.
Yeah, there seems to be almost like the Basher Appreciation Society. You know, there's quite 3 or 4 of them that sort of like are sort of like talking about. I mean, they seem to be engaging in conversation with other people, mainly about the fight that comes up in 2 weeks' time with Saul the Snapper. And they're sort of like talking about form and how good they are and muscles and who's going to win. And there's definitely a split in the group between, you know, the people who think Bert the Basher is going to win and the group that thinks Saul the Snapper is going to win. And they're sort of like exchanging views and, you know, my dad's better than your dad sort of like conversations.
I mean, Studley's going to put himself in this conversation if he can. Of course, he's going to say that Bert the Basher is going to win and that he's going to be putting all his money on Bert the Basher.
Yeah, and half of them sort of like cheer and sort of like pull you over to their side of the conversation as the group virtually dissects itself into two sections, almost like opposing sides in an argument. Somebody comes along and passes you a burger. And sort of like puts it in. It seems to be one of the waitresses that are sort of like giving you the burger.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Studley will offhand the Soywiser. Was it Soywiser?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, off to Billy Bob, and he'll start tucking into the burger, and as he's eating it with sort of like the little bits of fat dribbling down from the side of his mouth, he's going to, still talking to the group, he's going to say, I hear Bert sometimes comes into here. Do you think we'll see him tonight?
Yeah, and you sort of like bite into your burger, and as you sort of like pull the burger away from the napkin, in your mouth, it seems that it's almost as if you got some of the napkin in your mouth as you're chewing the burger, and you look down and there's no tearing of the napkin at all. So you sort of like like that and fish it out just in case it was a bit of dead cat or something like that. But as you pull it out, it seems to be a very narrow piece of paper. Okay, it's quite tiny, and it is sort of like dripping. Well, it's very, very fat soaked, but you can notice on it that there's some words on it, and what it says, it just says meet me outside in 10, and that's it. Sorry, what was the thing that you were saying to the group?
He was saying about that Bert the Basher frequents. He's heard that Bert the Basher frequents the place, and did we think that we would see him today? Yeah.
So people start to sort of like say various things to you, and you sort of like grab almost like snippets of conversation. And he seems to be a popular fighter. He seems to be a popular fighter. But from the conversation that you hear, it doesn't seem that he's a popular person. There seems to be some kind of difference between his popularity as a fighter and his popularity of as a person. Somebody says a comment, something about fame has gone to his head. And somebody else says, yeah, he just comes in and uses this bar and somebody else is sort of like saying, "Oh yeah, he's always dressed up. He doesn't fit in this place anymore."
Studley's going to sort of like say, maybe he's going more professional. Maybe he's going onto the urban brawl circuit.
Yeah, and they sort of like reply to you and say that, Bert the Basher was always a street fighter, and they know he's only got one more fight left before he will be able to retire. It's somebody comments that he thinks that Bert the Basher doesn't think that he sort of like says the scary cat elf is not good enough for him now in his posh suits, etc.
So with that, Studley's going to sort of like say, well, where does he go now then?
Yeah, and they all sort of like almost like in unison saying things like they couldn't care less, and if he doesn't want to come here, then good riddance to him. He'll have the he'll not reap the benefits of people watching his fight, etc. And they seem to be more. They don't seem to be bothered that he's left. Apart from the fact that they sort of like think he's a good guy and a good fighter.
A good fighter, but not a good guy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Studley's going to keep engaged in the conversation for sort of like 5 minutes. And he's going to say to Billy Bob, we need to meet somebody outside. It was a lady. I think it could have actually been the barmaid that I spoke to previously.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so are you leaving the scaredy cat elf or?
Yeah. Did it say back or front?
It didn't. It just said meet me outside. But you do notice you do know that there's a side entrance to the scaredy cat elf as well. So it's quite easy to keep an eye on the front and the side at the same time. So as you leave Studley, everybody sort of like cheers and says, "Yeah, man, you're such a good laugh, even though you're so old," and things like that. And they sort of like pat you on the back, and they try to make you they try to convince you to stay behind and have one for the road. They're saying, "I'm enough one for the road, man."
Studley's like, I couldn't possibly. No, I have to get back to see to my mother.
Yeah. Oh, you're so kind, you are. This big troll sort of like gives you a manly embrace and sort of like pats your back with his hand, his gigantic hands, which nearly almost like wins you. Yeah. And
with that, sort of like Studley sort of like he positions himself with Billy Bob in between him and the other people, and he sort of like just comes out from the side of Billy Bob and says, "Oh, thank you very much. Goodbye." And he's going to head to the side entrance, and he's going to say, "Billy Bob, let Brody know that we're supposed to be meeting a young lady."
Yeah. So you sort of like go out the front of the scaredy cat elf, and there seems to be no one waiting. So you sort of like head off to the left, and you do notice that you notice quite abruptly that as you turn round to go into the alley, you almost like come face to face. Almost like bashing into each other. What appears to be a waitress from the scaredy cat elf. You notice that she's got a cigarette in her hand, and she's obviously coming out for her smoke break.
Studley's good to say. Are you aware that smoking those things will decrease your life expectancy by a significant amount.
Yeah, she sort of like looks at you. She takes a long drag of it and almost like blows the smoke in your general direction.
Studley will take his handkerchief out and sort of like hold it over his mouth and nose.
Yeah, and she sort of like says, working at this place is the least of my worries. You notice that she's got a name tag on, by the way. Her name is Monica.
Ah, it's not Candy.
No. Yeah, her name's Monica. She seems to have almost like it almost like looks like her white blouse is about 2 sizes too small for her. Mm-hmm. And the buttons are open quite a way down to expose cleavage. Yeah. And she's got like a straight pencil black skirt on. That is probably totally impractical within the Scaredy Cat elf, but it's obviously uniform, and that's what she has to wear. And she turns around to you, Studley, and she says, "Here you were asking questions about Bert."
Oh yes, I'm a journalist doing an article on his up and coming fight. With Saul the Snapper. I don't know whether or not you're aware of it. You probably are because you work in an establishment that is. Well, it's mostly to do with sport, isn't it? Anyway, yes, I'm doing an article on him, and I heard that he frequents this place, and I had come to speak to people, maybe get a story, and yes.
And she sort of turns to you and says, "I'm not interested in his sports career. I was more interested in something else. But he stood me up. He actually stood me up. I really like Bert. I really like him, but he's a bit stupid, if you get what I mean. You know."
Yes, my colleague here, he's called Billy Bob.
She sort of like looks over to you, Billy Bob, and sort of like looks straight at your face, start off with, then sort of like looks down and looks back up, and she gives you almost like a smirk and a bit of a wink.
I think there is.
I have no idea what Billy Bob's charisma is, by the way. But
I think it's 2.
You just seem like one of the ladies' man, you know, as you sort of like think. Say again, Studley. Sorry, I missed that.
Studley's going to sort of like go into spiel and sort of like saying, "Oh yes, I do believe that there's something in the industry when a certain individual gets punched a lot of times, especially in the head, which can in turn cause the brain to swell and
Nah, she says. She says, he was stupid before.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's just stupid. And last Friday he stood me up. He stood me up.
Oh, well, I can't see why he would do that. I mean, you seem to be a very nice young lady with and
assets.
Like look at her chest area and say with yes, a sparkling personality.
Yeah, and she sort of like stops leaning against the wall, which she's been doing, and she sort of like looks at you and says, "Oh, thanks, mister." And she sort of like pulls her blouse a bit tighter round her, so her assets are sort of like more available.
Glasses sort of like start to steam up a bit, so he has to take them up and off and give them a wipe before pushing them back onto his nose and say, yes, so you were supposed to be oh, but by the way, can I use your name in the article? This is something that I do have to ask before.
Do I get paid for it?
Well, if the how shall I put it, the gossip is good enough, then yes. I mean there could be a tip
She sort of like, she almost like frowns at you at that point and says, "Gossip? I'm not a gossip monger, mister. I'm just telling you facts."
Yeah, sorry. Gossip is a reported term for the best facts. It's just something that we do just slang around. There was no offence meant, of course. It's just something that as journalists use. Anyway, Cynthia, yes,
Monica.
She sort of like looks round as if
Monica.
she actually looks down to a name tag and thinks, "Oh yeah, I am Monica." She says she carries on talking to you, and she sort of like talks about. She sort of says things like, she sort of like goes, "Yeah, Bert used to come in all the time, and now he just comes in and uses this place. One quick drink, and then he's off. He's off in his posh suits, not caring about us who have kept him on the straight and narrow all this time. And how does he repay us? He doesn't even turn up for my date that I've been waiting for 6 months for."
Oh, well, I think he's a fool keeping you keeping you waiting for that long. Did he say where he was? Where does he go in these fancy suits?
And she sort of like reaches inside her cleavage and she pulls out what appears to be some kind of moist bit of paper, and she hands it to you, Billy Bob, and you notice there's a com number on it, and she just sort of like looks at you and says, "Because Basher's not around anymore, I'm free for people like you," and sort of like winks at you. And then
I don't suppose that's Basher's com unit, com number, is it? Because I would.
No,
I would really like to interview him before the fight with Saul.
She turns around to you and says, "That was my number for the big orc guy over there. Do you really want to find Basher then?"
Yes. It would be. It would definitely be worth your while if you could point us in the right direction. If you get my meaning. And he sort of like he'll reach into his pocket and he'll take out his cred stick.
Yeah, and how much are you scanning for her? She sort of like holds out a comlink.
How much is a burger?
Oh, it's about 6 credits.
How much is a soy miser?
About 10.
What?
Okay.
Pub prices, Billy Bob. Pub prices.
Get what you pay for.
Yeah.
The more popular it is, the more expensive it is.
Just remember, the burger comes with a napkin.
Goes for burgers and hookers. He'll slot 100 credits.
Yeah, she's quite pleased with that, and she says.
Well, I thought she would be as well.
She sort of like turns around you, and she sort of like looks around. And then she sort of like gets a little bit closer and says to you, "I know where he's being. Not that I'm a stalker or anything, but I followed him."
Ah. And where was that? Monica.
Well, I don't mind telling you. He's gone to paradise. You hear from round the corner, obviously from the kitchen door, somebody shout, "Monica! Monica!" Like that, and she sort of...
I'm sure if he had got on that date with you, he would have gone to exactly the same place.
Yeah, he sort of like... She turns to Billy Bob and says, "His loss."
Billy Bob's going to turn around and he's going to ask her, so when was the last time you actually spoke to him?
"Oh, last week. He just came in and bought a beer. He didn't even finish it." She drops a cigarette on the floor and sort of like stubs it out with her foot. And she's
yes, good idea. Taking me up on my advice. Those things can kill.
she sort of like looks as if looks could kill, and she waddles or totters away in a stiletto shoes down to the kitchen, and just before she goes into the kitchen, she turns back round to you and says, "He doesn't fit in paradise, I tell ya. That's only for the rich and famous. Basher's just one of those." And she sort of like walks in, and you hear the door close, and then all you can hear is the noise from the bar coming out, those rapturous cheers as their team wins.
So he's going to turn to Billy Bob and say, do you want me to hold on to that telephone number, Mr. Bob, just in case we need to follow up on the information?
Have you seen the screen that you're on?
Yeah, we're back to the starting screen.
What do the tokens look like to you?
They look all right.
Because mine are all faded.
Oh.
Oh no, they look fine.
Yeah, and I don't think.
Oh yes, they're faded on yours.
No, it's all right. I was on the wrong layer. Don't worry.
Right. And then Studley's going to say, "Yeah, very nice lady, Cynthia." Yes.
He's going to hand him the com number and say, "Monica."
Oh yes. Thank you, Mr. Bob. So yes, it seems like we may have a lead of some sort. Paradise. Probably not somewhere. Probably a nightclub. Well, maybe Bodhi can. Yes.
At that point, Bodhi
find out some information.
At that point, Bodhi comes around the corner, goes, "Ah, there you are. I was looking for you. I didn't notice that you'd left the Scarecat movie."
Yes, well, I did instruct Billy Bob to send you a com call. So if anything is amiss in that department, then please take it up with Mr. Bob.
Well, I'm sure he didn't mean to. It's it's all right. I'll forget it this time, Billy Bob.
So you have the general gist of the job, which we are currently employed to fulfill, primarily by Handbrake, which is one of Mr. Bob's lady friends.
One of many.
I've been thinking about the actual disappearance of Bert, and I have done a quick calculation, primarily using the information that we have, and I can see that at the moment the only person who probably stands to gain for Bert not turning up on a week on Friday is Mr. Gabatti.
I assume that's because he's going to get a massive payout.
No, it's because the fighters are under contract, and until their final match, they do not get any payment. They only get living expenses, which is the apartment above the delicatessens, and standard expenses for food and training.
Unless
it also puts us on to the next point, and that is, if that is the case, how is our missing orc, Bert, financing these rather expensive suits?
Has he got a manager?
Yeah, so his manager is Sid Gabatti, currently owner and manager and trainer of Sid Stadium, which is where we had the meeting earlier on today.
I think I had a picture of Sam.
You did, yeah. You had Sid.
I remember.
You had a picture of the training thing and Sid.
What was he on the training one?
He was on the training one, yeah.
He might
'Cause
still.
he refused to
Ooh.
come in.
I'm okay.
There he is. Look.
Mm.
There he is.
Perhaps our chummer Bert has got is moonlighting, doing a job on the side.
Yeah, I mean, he could. The only thing that would put me off, there's a good point though, Bodie. Bodie.
You had it right. You had it right the first.
The only thing that puts me off with him being moonlighting is that they tend to have them dressing in a similar style. If he was doing bar work, and the suits that we found in his wardrobe were of different designs, and we would have probably found that if he was working as, say, for example, a doorman, we would have found that the suits were of a better cut. But of a cheaper make. These suits, I have purchased one of these suits myself in the past, and they were of extremely good quality and very expensive.
Did you buy those suits?
About 1,500 credits worth.
Billy Bob's he's gonna turn around and say, maybe he got poached off another trainer promoter.
Yes, again, a good point, Mr. Bob. But we can only assume that if he had, then he would be, as I stated previously, moving up in the world and maybe going for one of the more highly publicized sports. For example, going from street brawling to urban brawling.
Perhaps if he's a fairly famous person, perhaps he's got a bit of a bit of a squeeze on the side that could be buying him these suits as gifts.
Yes. But yes, I mean it could well be the point. But I think we do need to ascertain why he's actually not turning up to training.
Maybe one of the other fighters at the gym could have been approached by said promoter. Maybe we can get a lead that way.
Yeah, well, we do have several. Well, we do have one lead at the moment, and that is from what Cynthia provided us with, which is a location called Paradise, and yes, we were hoping that maybe you can find something out.
Oh yeah, I can dive into the Matrix and have
not Monica, not Cynthia. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I can have a dive into the Matrix and see what I can find about this paradise.
Excellent. We're doing this here, or shall we?
Well, it depends what you guys want to do next. I've got my van just parked around the corner. I can just go there and have a sit down, so I'm not standing around doing it in the street.
Yes.
Now, people get a bit weird when you just stand there doing.
Oh yeah, we don't. I can vouch for that. They do certainly get weird if you do it in the street. Yes, probably a van would be a better.
That's right. I ping them both a location, and I also both invite them to have a mark on my van as well, so they can find it.
That's very nice of you. We could just follow behind you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's another time as well.
Yes. Oh, right. Excellent.
And then so Bodhi's gonna, with that, he's gonna nod, and he's going to sort of like slouch off towards the van. It's sort of like a rolling sort of, just gentle rolling gait off to the van to go and find out about Paradise.
So
as Studley walks behind next to Billy Bob, he's going to see the way that that Bodie's walking, and he's going to say, "I think he might have been in a car accident. Is it wise going in a van with him?"
Billy Bob's just going to shoot him a look.
Nice. What kind of look?
Like just
Not a Cynthia look.
You might be right.
Cool. So tell me, what's your deca rate at the moment?
So at the moment, I've got it set up as the standard config. So it's attack 7, sleaze 6, data processing 5, firewall 4.
Sorry, attack 7, DP 6.
No, sleaze 6, DP 5.
5, okay. And then firewall
4.
Cool.
At the moment, I've currently got browse on my cyber program, so that halves the time for matrix searches.
Yeah.
I've got toolbox on, which gives a +1 to data processing, so that's data processing 6 at the moment. And I've also got my agent running. I haven't got anything else running at the moment.
Okay, so I need you to do a matrix search. So first things first, are you running silently? Which I presume you would be, because most decas run silent in any case.
Yeah.
So that'll be a -2 to the roll. What rating is your agent?
Agent is rating 4.
And do you wish him to assist you in your role?
If possible, then yes, please.
Yeah, and what about Studley? Because you can data search as well.
Yes, of course. Studley's always interested in providing information, so he will also supplement his matrix search skill.
Okay then, so if you go first, Studley, so it's computer plus
yes, thank you very much.
intuition.
I have that.
Yeah.
Studley gets 2 successes.
2 successes, and the agent gets no successes. So in which case you can use your own matrix search now, which will be computer plus intuition, and it'll be, you would have had -2 because you're
Running
silent, but Studley gives you 2 points as well.
Would Signal Scrub do anything? Because I've got that. So if I load that, would that I've got rating 2 noise reduction. Would that count for running silent or not? Or was that just noise? Something different. No,
that's just noise. If you go in further afield.
So that is /roll. So Studley gives me 2 extra dice. Did you say?
Yeah. No, Studley's 2 extra dice to take your -2 off for your running silently.
Yeah, that's right.
So it just be your computer plus intuition.
Greater than 5.
How did I can't remember how Handbrake knows this.
Trains in the same gym, and she puts money on his bets, on his fights.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just finding me table. I just need to find.
Does nothing work anymore? I've just given you bits, and I'm not number 1. I should be number 1.
Why?
It hasn't.
Are you knocking me off my number 1?
I was on 531.
You've given 8 bits.
I give 58 bits.
No, it just says that you gave 8 bits.
I can see.
Oh no, sorry. You gave 50 bits and then 8 bits. Yeah. And so you're on. Hang on, let me just.
Just
Catch up, Billy Bob.
I'm like, what? Like
Sugar Wooger's complaining about everything.
I'm thinking like com rating stuff and like what? Yeah, I just
more
realized
important than con ratings, Billy Bob.
He's talking about
Longshanks. According to the pop-up, Longshanks has 580. Chugga Wugga, you have 531.
Yeah, it didn't take into account my 58 that I just put in.
It might just take a bit
Yeah.
of time for it to click up. Okay, so what? 3 successes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay then.
So I was wanting to know about Paradise in Metro. So it's like what it is, where it is.
Papa.
Yeah.
Okay then. So yeah, it doesn't seem to be publicised. So you actually needed 3 or more to actually get this information. So you're fine like that, but it takes you. What does your browser do to the time?
It halves the time of matrix searches.
Okay then, so 15 minutes later, because it would have taken you 30, you find out the following things about Paradise. Number one, it's a place for famous, rich people to hang out, including people from North Side and people who live in the central metro area. It's almost like seen as a posh place. People like to almost like go there because it's in Southside, but they see it as quite risky. You know, it's almost like I'm going to Southside. You know, the clientele seems quite rich and famous. And that's the first thing you find out. The second thing that you found out was that it is a club. And it's you can see that there's various posts across the social media that actually labels it as a fun time club, and there's various people on the Matrix talking about you can get anything that you want here, you know, whatever you want they'll provide, and some people are sort of like saying that that's absolutely brilliant, and other people are sort of like saying how horrendous it is. And the final thing that you find out is that it only takes VIPs. It's not like a public club. It's more of a VIP club. Studley and Billy Bob, it's going to take Bodhi like 15 minutes to do this. So is there anything you would like to do while you're sat
Yeah, I want to go through the glove compartment.
Oh, actually, no. You would have been searching as well because you adjusted the
Billy
dice.
Bob's going to go through the glove
Yeah. What, Bodhi? What's in your glove compartment?
So in the glove compartment, there is it's like odds and ends, a bit of sand from the beach that's still somehow there because sand always lives there. When you take Vans to the beach, there's some sex wax. There's some, which is if people don't know what the sex wax is, if you pick it up, Billy Bob, it says Zoggo's sex wax, and it's a.
he knows what sex wax is.
It's a wax that you put on your surfboard to make it nice and smooth and fly through the water.
Billy Bob's going to turn around and say,
Half-eaten
"That's what the
sandwich.
kids are calling it these days."
Yeah.
Okay, so Billy Bob rifles through the nondescript glove box, and at that point, Bodhi and Studley, you finish off your matrix searches and sort of like combine the effort of the information and share it with each other and with Billy Bob.
Oh, yes. It seems that the Paradise Club does cater for various individuals, mainly rich. There is a VIP list, so it just doesn't look like they're going to be taking anybody in. Does it say whereabouts is there like an address for?
Oh yes, yeah. It's
moved around to sort of like different people's house.
It's a established club, and there's a location for it that's sort of like in northern south side.
Is it like a really popular club? Like, so if we get there, the queue's going to be like massive.
Oh no, I think it's by invite only, Mr.
Yeah,
Bob. It's not something that you queue for.
No, yeah.
The type of things that they're catering for, yes, it would be a very long queue. I would probably think, but queues are no problem for us. says Studley, looking at Bodhi.
Well, I mean,
Bodhi.
I mean, I can try and make my way. Oh, I can make my way in and see if we can add us to the list, or I could get in and try and add us onto the staff so we can get in that way. Whichever you would prefer. Because we could either way intermingle.
I mean, I'd rather be the hammer rather than the anvil, but yes, if you could maybe get us as on the guest list, that might provide us with a bit more freedom than handing out hors d'oeuvres.
Okay. I can I'll give anything a go once.
Is that what the sex works for?
Yes, I think
As long as Billy Bob doesn't start sniffing it, you'll be fine. You'll be fine, Billy Bob.
I think we'd also need to look the part. So when you're trying that, me and Mr. Bob will do a bit of shopping. And Studley sort of like look Bodhi up and down, goes, yes, small, I take it, and yes, we shall pick. We shall, unless of course you have suitable attire.
Bodhi looks down and you see that he's wearing shorts, a flip flop, and a vest top.
Just one.
Just one flip flop or two.
And a flip flop and flip flops. So.
Yes, I will get Mr. Bob to pick you out suitable as my as my mother normally picks stuff out for me. So yes,
that's fine, John. I'm sure Billy Bob here has got impeccable tastes that aren't too pricey.
Excellent.
Billy Bob's going to look at him and he's going to sort of like measure him with his fingers.
But really just looks at him and goes.
He's
like he's got one eye closed and he's like, okay, so.
So the plan is that Billy Bob and Studley are going to go shopping.
Cool.
Or cheap but expensive looking attire.
Yeah. So I think there's some nice suits in the general rule book, isn't there? The core book.
Oh, don't even have my core rule book open. When Bodhi sorts out. These are far too expensive. I'm going to go for clothing, but expensive. I don't want one of the auctioneer business suits. That's sort of like,
Well, the nice thing about those is that they're good to wear, but they also provide you with armor protection, don't they? Because they have an armor rating of 8. But normal everyday clothes won't have that rating on.
Right.
And it's not the sort of place that you could get away with, your armor jacket or armor vest on top or anything like that. So you can get armored clothing that is $4.50, but it doesn't. It looks somewhat bulky. It doesn't have those fine lines that a good tailored suit would have.
To be honest with you, Studley doesn't wear anything tailored.
Yeah.
Because it sort of like gets pulled in the wrong places. But he does have an armored vest which goes underneath normal clothing, which he'll probably rely on that.
Cool.
So I don't know what everybody else wants, but Studley's going to look for clothing rather than armored clothing.
Okay, yeah.
So quick question: if we were to wear a vest, so if we were to get normal clothing and then wear a bulletproof vest underneath, how bulky would that be? Would it be obvious that we're wearing?
It depends how hard somebody searches.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Studley, how much are you paying for these clothes?
I'm just getting the
I can't
three
find
gear
it.
ups now, so I can see.
It's anywhere between 20 credits to 100,000 credits.
Right, yeah, 100,000 is probably. Can I can Studley make a do you know when you go into the place? Is
Yeah.
this
So
sort of
what
like
I want.
magazines?
Yeah,
Or,
but what I wanted you to do is give me a price, and then we can use your negotiation role to actually adjust that price.
all right,
Yeah.
I was thinking of more. Where you're going, because it's normally one of these places that you go in, and there's always somebody coming up to sort of like help you and sort of because they're normally on commission. So he was going to sort of like try to tell them where he was looking at going and to what sort of like district, and see whether or not they can.
Yeah, they seem very impressed when you comment that you're going to the Paradise Club, and they sort of like bring out suits and appropriate clothing, and you notice that as they come out still on the hanger, there's a little arrow that actually states the price, and they all seem to be for one suit somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 credits.
Yeah. Studley's going to sort of like say, yes. Do you hire?
If let's roll your negotiation skill
Yeah, okay.
now, and then let's see how much they can bring it down by.
Okay. So my negotiation. Is
Something plus charisma.
yeah
Negotiation, I would have
yeah.
thought.
So before he does it, Studley's going to say, do you have a before I start trying on, do you have a restroom that I could possibly use?
Yeah. If you want to go there and put your
And I want to. He's going to go there, and he's going to cast his.
Okay, so it'll be spell casting plus magic.
Okay, so I'm going to cast this at Force 3.
Okay, so that'll be your target
Okay, so spell casting and
plus
magic. My magic 6. My spell casting is 6, so that's 12 dice.
Yeah.
Target's 3.
Correct.
No,
Yeah.
the force is
Yeah. So the force is 3. So you get 6 successes.
okay,
And
but
then,
it's only going up to 3 because
correct.
of my.
Yeah. So you just get 3 in there, and then what you need to do is roll your logic plus willpower now for the drain. So what's the drain code on the spell?
The drain code on the spell is currently
It'll be force minus 2 or something like that.
it's force minus 3, so it's going to be 1.
Yeah, so
or is it 2 that it automatically?
it always defers to 2 no matter what.
Charisma. No, it's
Logic plus willpower.
So 11 dice.
Because shamans are charisma plus willpower. And you get 3 successes, so
that's enough to
remove the drain.
to take out the drain. So yes, so coming back as he comes out, he makes sure that his flies undone, and he's going to start negotiating on the price, seeing whether or not he can actually get it so that it's rented, preferably. But if not, then he wants to get down on the actual. So negotiation, I'm going to be rolling currently 7 dice.
Okay, cool.
Gosh.
Yes. So you no successes there. So they don't actually hire suits. But they've got some nice ones that you think you might be able to squeeze into for 3,000 credits each. So that would be 9 grand in total. You can go for something lower if you wish. They start at 20 and then go up. So you can get ones for 2,000 if you wish, or 1,000, or 500.
Studley's going to turn to Billy Bob and go, 3,000 each.
Billy Bob's left roll 20. He's just walked out in disgust.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
no.
Why have you left roll 20, Billy Bob?
Yeah, but
I have no idea.
Come on, think of an excuse.
I clicked on the.
big red X at the top right corner.
Clicked on the link.
It's not a red X. It's
I'll
red.
just watch somebody else streaming when. Don't forget to change your name.
Yeah.
Oh, they're up and running.
What are?
Your tokens, you can now click the other bit.
Yeah, no, the skills aren't.
Yeah,
The attribute worlds still aren't.
cool.
They're still coming back saying cannot call method on dialogue prior to.
Yeah, the macros roll as well.
Billy Bob remembers that you got an armored suit before. Do they sell them here?
Oh no, they don't. What? Sorry, an armored suit. Yeah. Well, you can get auctioneer clothing, business clothing, which is 1,500.
Don't know what that meant, but okay.
Also comes with a concealable holster included in the jacket.
So what price are you going to pay for your suits? Are you buying normal suits, or are you going for auctioneer business clothes? What's the plan?
I mean, Studley had sort of like, was thinking of a budget of sort of like 500.
Yeah, so you can buy a suit for 500. That's not a problem. When you mention that, the person selling you the suit, the vendor, sort of like goes, "Oh, yes, I think we have something in the back for that price range," and goes into the back and brings out some suitable suits costing 500 credits each. Billy
Studley
Bob's,
choose a light blue one. A light blue one.
yeah, and
Sort of like really light.
yeah, and Billy Bob's.
Does it have all the ruffles and cuffs as well?
No, that's yours.
Yeah, Billy Bob's is actually a size too small, but you managed to sort of like, you think you'll be able to get it into it, and you tried them on in the shop, and that's absolutely fine. So you guys can head back, taking off 1,500 credits from your account. You can head back to the van, where Bodhi is, will hopefully by then have finished whatever he would like to do.
So I was going to ask before I did it, how close are we at the moment to the location of the Paradise Club? Because I assume that's going to increase noise if I'm not that close to it.
No, it won't, because you've got your scrub on in any case, haven't you? And
Yeah,
I think your data jack
Data
comes
jack.
with -1 to the noise as well.
It's wireless activated.
Okay.
Yeah. So it can be wireless activated, so there'll be no noise.
3, 4. Okay, brilliant. So in that case, yeah. So I've reorganised my deck array, if that's all right. Is that how it works? I assume.
Yeah. What is your deck array now?
So at the moment, attack is 5, sleaze is 7. Then I'm using exploit, which gives a +2 to sleep on hack on the fly. So my total for my sleaze is 9.
What's data processing?
Data processing is 6, and then I'm also still running. Hang on, let me get it right. Have I still got it on?
Which means your firewall is 4. Yeah.
Yeah, firewall is 4. Yeah. Okay, so
So hack on the fly is your hacking skill plus your logic.
yeah. Logic, hacking skills, so that's 12. I've then got +2 because I've got specialization of it. So that's 14, and then I've got whatchamacallit, I've got my Code Slinger Hack on the Fly, which is specialised to hack on the fly. So that's 16.
You're not going straight in on that, though, are you?
No, hang on. What have I done? Why have I done that? I clicked it to open it up, and it just rolled 1 dice.
0.
Lock, come back.
So first of all, before that, am I able to do matrix perception on it first?
Are you hacking into the host? Is that what you're doing?
I was going to, but I want to do a. Can I do a matrix perception test on it first to see what the rating is?
Yeah, by all means.
So where's my numbers for me dice for that? So that is. I'll do it this way.
Are you hot sim? Are you running silent cold?
He's running silent.
Running silent. Because there's negatives for hot sim, isn't there?
No, there's positives for hot sim. There's negatives if you get caught.
Okay. Yeah. So hot sim.
Plus 2 if you're hot sim.
Yeah.
But if you get caught, it's
physical damage.
Physical damage rather than stun.
Stun damage. Yeah. Right. So I'm running noise reduction. I'm also running baby monitor, exploit, and I've also got my agent running. So can I have my agent help me do the matrix perception? Does that work?
Yeah.
Does that not work?
Yeah, he gets 1 success, so you can have 1 dice for it.
So I'm doing matrix perception, so that's 6. Make sure I get the right number.
So this is computer plus intuition.
Yep. Yep, that's cool. So that's 3 successes.
Yeah, okay, so I can oppose that now with the host roll.
Found out why I couldn't find the equipment list in the Shadowrun rulebook.
Why is that?
I had the Mithras one open.
Yeah, I often do that actually.
And I was looking down the left-hand side for street gear.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you actually don't get any successes. Sorry, any net successes. I actually beat your number of successes with 4. So yeah, it's definitely the host of the Paradise Club. That's definitely what it is.
That's right. So, not being deterred by that, he's gonna try and hack on the fly it.
Okay. So that'll be your hacking plus your logic.
14, 15, 16. I just want to make sure I'm rolling the right number of dice. So that's 16 dice.
So what's your hacking?
Hacking is so hacking is 6, and then I'm specialized in it.
Okay, so hacking's 8.
So hacking's 8. And then I've got a logic of 6.
Yeah.
14.
14.
And then I've got my code slinger, which I've donated to. I've set to hack on the fly, so that's a +2.
Okay.
So that's 16 dice.
Yeah.
16 D6. Greater than 5. Oh.
Dude, use the dice roller.
Alright, dude. 16. Shadowrun. Greater than 5.
So that's not right.
That's not right. Let's re-roll it, see if it does anything different.
You put exclamation marks, and now you've put less than 5. You need it greater than 5. You need it.
I'm lucky! 2 successes.
Oh.
I'm going to use the point of edge and re-roll.
Can we have the 14 successes?
Please. So I'm going to use a point of edge, and I'm going to re-roll 14 dice. There we go. So that's a total of 6.
He can't re-roll those sixes because he didn't pre-urge it.
So why is it 6 successes?
Because he got 2.
I got 2, and then I used a
And
point of
then
edge to re-roll my fail.
edge to re-roll the ones that he'd failed on. So he rolled
All right, got you.
15 dice, and then
Right.
I got 4, so I got a total of 6 successes in my hack and fly attempt.
Yeah, because it's limited by your sleeves, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is 9, I think.
Yeah, so you managed to get a mark on the host.
we can see your rolls. By the way, I don't know whether or not.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm just trying to figure out which one is the one that you don't see. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's that
Didn't
one.
see that.
Yeah, I think it's blind roll. Yeah.
That one doesn't count.
Yeah. So you've now got a mark on the host.
Okay, brilliant. So you see a hand extend, and then in like a pointing motion, and the hand is slightly sort of like of an odd skin texture, and then sort of like a pool of water starts circling around the host, and then every so often you just see a shark fin appearing and then disappearing. There's like this circle of water like moves around in a circular motion. Right, so I've got a mark on the host. Do I need more to do? So I'm now in the host, I assume.
No, not until you enter it. You have to enter a host, and that's you don't need to roll for that. You just move in, but it is an action. So you can now enter the host if you wish.
Do I need more successes to do anything inside once I'm inside? Do I need more marks?
It depends what you want to do and where you're putting the marks. So say, for example, you wanted to control a camera, then you would have to put marks on the camera in order to gain control of it. And then the number of marks, for example, to operate a camera, i.e. move it around, you would need 3 marks on it.
Okay.
Because you're controlling that device.
Normally in the house you would get 1 mark on it and then enter it.
Yeah. So at the moment, what I'm wanting to do is I want to go in and then I want to find the guest list, and then I'd like to, once I've found it, I'll check to make sure it's not data bombed, and then after that I want to add the 3 of our names. So I want to add Studley's name, Billy Bob's
Right,
name.
okay, then let's take it one step at a time because there's about 5 rolls there. So first of all, you sort of like enter into the host, and it appears to be like you're almost like on a desert island. There's palm trees with coconuts on them, and you notice that there are people sort of like sat on the sand, and they seem to be writing notes into bottles and then tossing them into the sea. They're all sort of like in what can only be described as Robinson Crusoe outfits, so like torn off jeans and you know, and they're walking around barefooted, and they seem to have some kind of ragged shirt on.
Okay. So as my character enters, you see, or he sort of like he comes out of the sea and sort of like walks up onto the beach. You see,
Not like Daniel Craig.
yeah, like Daniel Craig, but carrying a surfboard under one arm. But he's actually sort of like a shark in human form. So it's like the legs and body. It's like up to the shoulders. It's sort of like a muscular, sort of like humanoid shape. But with shark skin, and then he's got like a shark head, sort of like coming up with slightly more personified characteristics, and sort of like in a dark grey, sort of like on the top, and then sort of like a white underneath.
Does the surfboard have a face on it?
So
I didn't know whether or not that was your agent.
no. He's just carrying that as just like an extra action. No, the agent has followed him in, but you can't see my agent at the moment. It's hidden away. He's circling around in the water. So once I'm in, I'd like to search for the guest lists.
Yeah, so you can see all the devices and everything in. You do look a lot different to all the other icons in this place. You can see that there's various lists and data. There seems to be cameras that are in operation, and there seems to be an area, a database called cash collectors that you're not too sure. There's a list that has VIPs on. There's also what appears to be an accounts data file. There seems to be some record of, there's a data file called apartments, and there's also another data file called debts. So there's VIP list, accounts, apartments, debts, and then there's cameras operational as well.
Okay. So my main aim at the moment is to go into the VIP list, but I want to check for data bombs first.
Okay, so first things first, you'll need to hack on the fly in order to get a mark on it.
Okay, so that is 16.
Please be better than last one.
There you go, 6 successes.
Yeah, so you gain 6 successes and you land it. Oh, are they working again, Billy Bob?
They might be, actually, by the look of it, Billy Bob.
No,